Next continuation, orthogonal complement. Its a definition: if a vector z is orthogonal to every vector in a subspace W of R power n, then z is said to be orthogonal to W. The set of all the vectors z that are orthogonal to W is called orthogonal complement of W. Orthogonal complement of W. It is denoted by W to the power of this symbol. This is called perpendicular symbol. W perpend. W to the power of perpend, or simply W perpend. This is perpendicular symbol. This is nothing but orthogonal complement of a vector. Definition is important. Now, next one, this is an explanation of an orthogonal complement. That's it, right? Now, a vector x is in W to the power of perpendicular if and only if x is orthogonal to every vector in a set that spans W. W perpendicular is a subspace of R power n. It just is an explanation of orthogonal complement, right? Now, next one is theorem. Important theorems. The one is Pythagorean theorem, and then this one. Now let A be an n by n matrix. The orthogonal complement of row space of A is the null space of A, and is the orthogonal complement of column space of A is the null space of A transpose. Row of A perpendicular is equal to null A, and column A perpendicular is equal to null A transpose. These are the definition of null space of A and column space of A. Please go through the definitions of null space and column space of A. Now, A is an n by n matrix. The row column rule for the computing Ax shows that if x is a null A, then x is orthogonal to row of A, with the rows treated as vectors in R power n. Since the rows of A spans row space, then x is orthogonal to row A. It's simply nothing but a definition only. Now conversely, if x is orthogonal to A, then x is certainly orthogonal to each vector, that means each row of A, and hence Ax is equal to 0. Since the statement is true for any matrix, it is true for A transpose also. This is orthogonal complement of the row space of A transpose. It is the null space of A transpose. Therefore, A transpose is equal to column A. Therefore, column A perpendicular is equal to null of A transpose. These are the definitions of null space and row space only, and the definition of orthogonal complement. Please go through orthogonal complements. Just writing the definitions of those definitions only. I mean orthogonal complement and row space and column space. Next, if u and v are vectors in R power R square or R cube, then angle between them is theta. Then u dot v, the inner product of u dot v is equal to norm u into norm v into cos theta. The angle between two vectors is defined as norm u into norm v into cos theta. The angle between two vectors. Next, orthogonal sets. Now orthogonal sets means, you know, orthogonal vectors. When do you say that two vectors are orthogonal to each other? If their inner product value is 0. Now here S is a set is given, one set is given to you. It contains some vectors, and the set is said to be orthogonal set if the inner product of any two distinct vectors is 0. That means if any two distinct vectors of the given set are orthogonal to each other, then the whole set is said to be orthogonal set. Here the set contains u1, u2 and so on un. That means u1, u2 are orthogonal, u2 and u3 are orthogonal, u3 and u4 are orthogonal, u1 and u1 and un are orthogonal, u2 and un are orthogonal, u3 and un are orthogonal. That means each pair of distinct vectors of this set are orthogonal, then the whole set is said to be orthogonal set. Right? That means ui into uj is equal to 0 for I not equal to z, distinct vectors. Now, one example, show that u1, u2, u3 is orthogonal set where u1 is equal to u2 is equal to u3 is given. That means we have to find the inner product of u1, u2 and u2, u3 and u3, u1. Now, inner product of u1, u2. What is the definition of inner product of u1, u2? That is nothing but u1 transpose into u2, no? That u1 transpose into u2, ordinary multiplication of two matrices, you will get this answer as 0. Similarly, u2 into u3, the inner product of u2, u3 is defined by u2 transpose into u3. u2 transpose means this is you have to express in row into u3, ordinary matrix multiplication, you will get 0. Similarly, u3 into u1 is nothing but u3 transpose into u1. That is inner product of u3 u1 is u3 transpose into u1. That means you have to write u3 in row wise, that is 1 by 2 minus 2 7 by 2. If you multiply this one, the answer is 0. You know how to find the inner product of two vectors. Here u1 u2 is equal to 0, u2 dot u3 is 0, u3 dot u1 is equal to 0. That means all the vectors are orthogonal to each other. Therefore, the set containing these vectors is orthogonal set. Therefore, the given set is orthogonal set. Next one is theorem. If u1, u2 and so on un is an orthogonal set of non-zero vectors in R power n, then S is linearly independent and hence it is a basis for a subspace spanned by S. Now see, R power n, what is the given data? R power n is a vector space where S is equal to, let S is equal to u1, u2 and so on un is an orthogonal set. This is important, given as orthogonal set. Now let a1 u1 plus a2 u2 plus so on an un is equal to 0. We have to show that these vectors are is linearly independent. Linearly independent means we have to multiply those vectors by scalars, right, and equate it to 0, right? Now see, a1 into u1 plus a2 into u2 plus so on an into un is equal to 0, where a1 u2 an are scalars. Now both sides we are multiplying by u1, both sides we are multiplying by u1. Now a1 into u1 plus a2 into u2 plus so on an into un dot u1 is equal to 0 into u1. Now here we are multiplying this inside, a1 u1 dot u1, a2 u2 dot u1 plus so on an un dot un is equal to 0 into u1 is 0. Now u2 and u1, what is the product of u2 and u1? That is 0, because u1, u2 and so on un are orthogonal. Orthogonal means S is an orthogonal set, means the product of distinct vectors is equal to 0. The inner product of distinct vectors is equal to 0 means u2 dot u1 is 0, u3 dot u1 is 0, un dot u1 is 0. Now simplifying, a1 u1 dot u1 is equal to 0. That implies since u1 is non-zero in the given statement, all the vectors are non-zero. Therefore, u1 is non-zero means a1 must be equal to 0. Similarly, we can prove that a2 is 0, a3 is 0 and so on an is 0 by multiplying one. This time you are multiplying by u1, no? The next time if you multiply by u2, you will get a2 value is equal to 0. Next time if you multiply it by u3, you will get a3 is equal to 0. That means all the scalars are equal to zeros. This is a linear combination, no? Right, this is a linear combination. If all the scalars are equal to 0, then the u1, u2 and so on un, the vectors are said to be linearly independent. If a set is orthogonal set, then those vectors are always linearly independent vectors. That means if you find a linear combination and equate it to 0, then all the scalars are equal to 0. Next important point, an orthogonal basis for a subspace W of R power n is a basis for W. That is also an orthogonal set. every orthogonal set is linearly independent. It is also forms a basis, because we know that every linearly independent set is itself a basis or extended to form a basis. Unit 1 concept. Next one, let u1 u2 on up is an orthogonal basis for a subspace W of Rn. For each y in W, the weights in the linear combination y is equal to c1 u1 plus c2 u2 plus so on cp up are given by cj is equal to y into uj by uj dot uj, where j is equal to 1 comma 2 so on p. This we have to prove, right? Important concept. Each and every page is important in this unit. Now R power n is a vector space, W is a subspace of R power n, u1 u2 and so on up is an orthogonal basis for W, and y is equal to c1 u1 plus c2 u2 plus so on cp up. That means y is a linear combination of these vectors. Now both sides we are multiplying by u1. See, y into u1, this entire thing into u1. Now y into u1, if you want multiply this u1 inside, what you will get? C1 u1 dot u1 only, because u2 into u1 is 0, u3 into u1 is 0, up into u1 is 0. That means the set is an orthogonal set. That's why the rest of the products are 0. Only you will get c1 u1 into u1. From here, u1 is not equal to 0 because it contains non-zero vectors. Now we are calculating c1. c1 is equal to what? Y dot u1 by u1 dot u1. Similarly, we can find c2 is equal to y dot u2 by u2 dot u2. Similarly, cj is equal to y dot uj by uj into uj. Next one is orthogonal projection. Now important topic, orthogonal projection of y onto a vector u is denoted by y cap, or projection L on y is equal to y dot u by u dot u into u, y dot u by u dot u into v. Let example, y is given as 7 6, u is given as 4 2. Find the orthogonal projection of y onto u. Now what is the definition of orthogonal projection? You have to remember this formula, y dot u by u dot u into v. Now we have to find the inner product of y dot u. Y dot u means what? Y transpose into u, no? Right? Y transpose means 7 6. Transpose means 7 6 in row wise into u. Ordinary multiplication of two matrices, you will get 40. Next, u dot u, because in definition u dot u is there. U dot u means u transpose into u, right? Now see, 4 2 transpose is row wise 4 2 into 4 2. Ordinary multiplication of matrices, you will get 20. Therefore, the projection of y is on u is y cap is equal to y dot u by u dot u into u. Therefore, y cap, y dot u is 40, u dot u is 20 into u. Y cap is equal to, that means 2 times 2 dot u. Y cap is equal to 2, 4 comma 2. 2 4s are 8, 2 2s are 4. We are multiplying the matrix by a scalar. You will get this one, 8 4. 8 4 is called what? Orthogonal projection of y on to u. Next, component of y orthogonal to u is y minus y cap. Y matrix is here, y cap matrix is 8 4. The subtraction of two matrices we are getting minus 1 2. Therefore this is called component of y orthogonal to u is y. Right? Now we know that y is equal to y cap plus y minus y cap. Now these are very important topics. Now please go through these videos and note down these notes. Next, tomorrow I'll post the last video of unit 3, that is complex eigen roots or eigen values, and the next one is the linear transformations.